Hello, my name is James Wilson. I'm about to do what a climatologist might call an overly simplified example of the greenhouse gas effect. So, what we have here is a pot of water boiling on a stove. I thought the most uh, readily available metaphor for me for the sun would be to use the stove top. The heat on the stove, coming from the stove, doesn't change in the same way that the heat from the sun doesn't really change. That remains constant. We're not touching this burner at all in this process. Now, a lot of the energy from the sun, the stove, it comes in the form of radiation, which is largely just flows through the atmosphere without really striking it. Granted, some of it does heat the atmosphere, but there's a certain part of this radiative energy that goes directly to the Earth's crust, which we're going to use to represent, which is going to be represented by this pot here. Um, the pot will take this radiative energy, convert it into what's called thermal energy, which the atmosphere is able to kind of hold on to. So this, I've chosen this water to be the atmosphere. The lid here we're going to call greenhouse gases. Now, there's a certain level of greenhouse gases that are present, naturally in the atmosphere before humans were ever on this earth. However, um, in recent years, these levels have really been increased to, two, three times their normal levels, sometimes in far greater excess than that. Um, and that's you want to increase the effect of greenhouse gases that what they do is they hold on to thermal energy a lot better than the rest of the atmosphere. That's essentially their function. Um, so without any greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the the average temperature of the Earth would be, I believe, at negative 18 degrees Celsius, and with greenhouse gases, the average temperature of the Earth is 15 degrees Celsius, positive Celsius. So like frozen water versus like habitable. Um, so you increase the greenhouse gases, you increase the amount of thermal energy being held up against the Earth without changing the amount of heat, the stove, that's added to the system. Now, in just a short amount of time, hopefully you can see the boil has really become quite a lot more vicious. Um, the temperature has increased. So I believe it's important for everyone to understand at least a little bit about climate change because we're getting to a point where most people accept that it's a science, but I think that understanding the specifics of it can kind of help people to form their opinions on which policies are more effective than others as we're um, adopting laws to combat this issue. Anyways, thank you for listening.